On today's episode, I discuss getting quiet and how that helps you to think bigger. Welcome to the Think Bigger Mastermind with Steve Yeager and Justin Stoddard, where we interview some of the world's brightest and most innovative minds, helping grow your thinking, your actions, and your impact. So today I just actually stepped out of a lunch with some good friends of mine who happen to be very, very successful businessmen, both of them. And it was interesting. We got on the topic of the book Tools for Titans by Tim Ferriss, and the common thread of many of the billionaires that are interviewed and their lives kind of put under a microscope, and began discussing the practice of meditation. And in that came out the need and importance to learn to quiet your mind. One of my friends had mentioned that he has recently started transcendental, I probably said that wrong, meditation. And I asked him, I said, what have been the results of your engaging in this practice so far? And he talked about his golf game, which is already extremely good. But he mentioned that just his ability to quiet his mind and rely upon his abilities as opposed to overthinking it was drastically different, and he could notice a difference. He also noticed that a couple projects that he had been putting off at work as a result of getting caught up in the minutia of the actual project, he was able to set aside and actually knock out about half of the project in a couple hours. So pretty impressive feedback from some pretty impressive professionals about the need to quiet your mind. I know for me, this week I've been talking about a lot in my vlog and on my blog as well, and in Facebook about how there's the need to have a powerful morning routine, and how a day is won or lost oftentimes based on how solid your routine is. And I put the focus on 4 key areas: spiritual, heart, so spirit, heart, body, and mind. And I think very easily one could, whether you categorize that as a spiritual practice or even just a mental practice of quieting your mind, of meditation. It's got my interest piqued enough to look into this type of meditation to see if for 10 minutes a day, at the beginning of the day and 10 minutes at the end of the day, if I were to engage in that practice of quieting my mind. I tend to have a million thoughts going in a million different directions. And one of my weaknesses is the ability to focus on a project at hand and not get sidetracked. And so I would encourage you to look into the same, to see how are you quieting your mind. There was actually another topic that I brought up in that same conversation, was a book that I read called The Power of Full Engagement. And in that book, the author Tony Schwartz, who actually was a high paid tennis professional coach to some of the world's best tennis players. And he realized that certain tennis players were able to perform at a higher level for a longer period of time. And what they had created was a way to quiet their mind. As they quieted their mind, it lowered their heart rate, and they could actually do this in between serves. So they had a very specific routine that they would follow that would allow them in a very short period of time to disengage their mind, lower their heart rate, and then re-engage when it was time to serve the ball or receive the serve. So something to think about, that for maximum effectiveness, there's needs to be a practice in your life of quieting your mind and allowing yourself to learn to focus at a deeper and higher level. So anyway, take that today. Hopefully there's some food for thought in there for you as to, in this media frenzied and information frenzied society in which we live, are we taking time to quiet our mind so that we can focus on those activities which are most beneficial for the fulfillment of our biggest goals, and those that essentially engage in that practice that allows us to do that at the highest level. So hopefully this has been helpful. If so, share it with a friend. Have a great day. We want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Think Bigger Mastermind with Steve Yeager and Justin Stoddard. Now, here's how you can show us some digital love in return. Number 1, subscribe to our show. Number 2, give us a review. Number 3, share this with a friend. And number 4, go think bigger.